What's good, everybody? Welcome into your daily sports betting brand of record. We call it the Early Edge. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports, and it's not even close. It is a bracket-busting Friday because Gonzaga goes down. Arizona goes down. The two number one seeds in the West and the South are gone. Baylor gone. KU's the only top seed left. Let's take a look at how our day was on Thursday before we look ahead to today. And across the board, pretty good. I know we had some opposites, but how about that nice little plus 165? The jeweler coming through again. Lucas Herbert on the last hole, cashing over Xander. So not a bad day at the brand, but as the maestro always says, it's on to the next. Let's bring in the stars of the show. And look what I'm doing today. We're going 5 wide. We're keeping it tight. Live. Oh, look at Micah. He says, we'll introduce him first. He says 5-5-5-5. Micah Roberts, how about a nice little cash last night on Duke and the over?
Well, on the show, I had Houston, but I did have Duke in the over as well. 2-2 for me yesterday. I didn't have my ratings correct like they've been on the totals in 2 of those games. One of them, the Gonzaga game, which was fantastic. That was a fun game to watch, but didn't cash on that. But for the show, it was all Houston.
Boom, 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 boom. See, I like to promote the show and SportsLine because then people can do both. All right. Now, look who's back. That means we've got a little women's college hoops. Calvin Wetzel, welcome back to the Early Edge.
What's up, Coach? It's good to be back with you guys this weekend. We got a really good slate today, both from a betting perspective and just an entertainment perspective. I'm pumped about tonight's game, so I'm going to be parked in front of my TV.
Damn it, if you're pumped, I'm pumped. Now, this man's always pumped. And a big night last night on the live stream. He'll be right back there tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time, live from New York City. Jay Smooth, what's good?
Hey, Coach. Hey, everybody. Excited to be back. Nice little 2-1 on the show. Missed the Texas Tech on the site, but that's okay. But here, listen to this little nugget. All the games yesterday in the men's tournament stayed under 62 points in the first half. So something I'm watching already for today.
Oh, a little Chick-fil-A nugget before we get to the storylines. I like it. I like it. And finally, of course, he's one of our OGs live from Nashville, Tennessee. M Squared. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, fellas. Nice to see the Cubs represented here. I almost wore the Cubs hat today. We're almost matching. I got Chad in the chat talking about F1 practice. We're all fired up. Let's do it today.
Boy, we're all kind of degenerates if we're talking about F1 practice. By the way, if you haven't watched Drive to Survive yet, did you see the last line in the last episode, Mikey? Do you see?
I have not finished the series yet.
The last line, that there was all that debacle with Hamilton and Verstappen at the end and all that drama. The last line of the entire series, they said, "Is they going to have a target on their back next season?" And the runner of the Mercedes says, "Everybody's got a target next season." You're damn right. That's how we feel here at the Early Edge. Everybody's got a target. Let's get into storylines that could affect the betting lines today. And, man, if the women's tournament is back, I want to know about it. Calvin, start us off.
Yeah, well, I know some people in this show have talked about games that are great live betting opportunities in terms of maybe having a chance to get both teams at plus money or as live underdogs. I think we got a great one tonight in Iowa State, Creighton. When you look at the way both of these teams love to shoot the 3 ball, you're talking about 2 of the top 8 teams in the country in 3-point rate. And Iowa State, no one's made more threes all year than Iowa State. So to me, it's a really high variance strategy. You're going to see, one quarter where one of these teams goes 1 for 8, another quarter they're going to go 4 for 8. I think this is going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of runs and swings in this game. So I would be monitoring this game live to see if you can get both sides, maybe middle it and get both sides as live underdogs at some point.
Oh, that's one of our favorite phrases, middle it. Try and middle it. I love that. I love that a lot. All right, let's stay in the college game because there's been kind of a trend. By the way, we're done not believing in Duke. Here at the show, we believe in Duke. We believe in Duke. However, the West Coast, we were hyping them up, Jay Smooth, prior to the tournament. They have let us down. Talk to me.
Yeah, it has not been pretty. And obviously, apologies to you, Coach. I know you lost your champion last night, but here's why It's just been rough. Here's why, man. There hasn't been a winner from the West Coast in the NCAA tournament in almost 30 years. 1997 when Arizona won it. And then 1995, I believe, is when UCLA last won. Has UCLA been making runs? Has Gonzaga been making runs? Yes, these teams routinely get far. But I think we saw last night why they're having trouble finishing it off. And it's the physicality of the teams from these other Power 5 conferences. You're seeing these teams like UNC who always come in ready to bang down low and throw a body around and get like big rebounds when those whistles get swallowed in these huge games. I think it's something to watch for. Tonight's game with UNC-UCLA might be another prime example. Definitely going to be focused on that one.
No, I'm definitely shifting my focus on how I'm thinking. Great storyline by you. Thank you. Now, it's never too early to look forward to the Elite Eight and what the lines are looking like and how our resident genius thinks about them. Micah, you're up.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see some of the opening numbers. We've seen them bounce around just a little bit, starting with Houston and Villanova, hanging at 2 right now. It's at 2.5 on some books. This opened 1.5. It's interesting to see Houston. What you see is what's fresh in our memory is a double-digit win over Arizona, and that's why you're seeing a little bit of them piling on. I do have them as obviously one of the best teams in the country. This matchup is fantastic. But what's interesting here is they both want to play with such a slow pace. I've got my eye on this total at 128.5 as well. This is a total that during the regular season, this thing probably wins at 125, 124. So it's interesting that this one is up to 128.5 already. And then the Arkansas Duke game, we've seen this one bounce around from as low as 3, as high as 4.5 already, total sitting at 147. What's interesting so far in this one, I have these numbers pulled up on the number of fouls called for Duke and Arkansas so far in the tournament. There have been 35 fouls called on Duke so far. Arkansas has been called for a foul 53 times. They both played 3 games, 35 to 53, wow. Almost 20 more fouls called on Arkansas so far in the tournament.
Wow. That's amazing stuff right there. That's amazing stuff. I might just lay the minus 180 on Duke and just say, screw it. I'm done not believing in the magic of Coach K. I think it's a real thing. Now, let's shift our gears just very quickly from the college game to the NBA and very quietly the Western Conference. Micah, I think we're going to have a pretty fun playoffs. Is there any value out west?
Yes, I do. I think there's a lot with the Dallas Mavericks, and Caesar Sportsbooks has them 14-1 to win the Western Conference. And what it is, it's transition. I think Jason Kidd deserves a lot of credit, Coach of the Year consideration for what he's done to that team, coming in, slowing them down, slowing the tempo, not shooting so many threes. And you haven't seen Luka have those big games like he had last year, but it's by design. And they've got Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie running the show up top, and it's been really controlled to make them the best under team in the NBA. They have discipline. They're listening to the coach. They're having success. They're beating the best teams in the West and the East. And I think that's going to pay off. They're 20-16 on the road, 45-26-2 to the under, 63%. That's going to translate, I think, well into the Western Conference. And you see some of these teams up top, like the Warriors, struggling right now, can't get it together. I think they're a good target to drop out first. I think the Mavericks are going to make it at least to the West Finals, and you can play around with your 14-1 odds in a bet on the other side.
Yeah, and you said something very, very smart. You said they're listening to coach. I believe that's what we do here at the Early Edge, too.
That's hard to do in the NBA.
Yeah, it's very hard to do in the NBA. That is correct. All right, great storylines by all 4 of you, but we need to get into our plays for today. And I hate to say it right from the jump, but if you're a SportsLine member, you've had access that others just do not have, and now is the time. How about access to all the cappers, all the simulations, all the basketball, hockey? And that's right, Buckets and Martin W. Green, they're coming back. Soccer is almost coming back. But one play from SportsLine today, and I hate to put the 2 superpowers against each other, but our man Mad Max in the Thunderdome, he's on St. Peter's plus 12.5, and I will put a pin in that one just for a second as we bring back in my cappers and Jay Smooth. If I'm going to have a smooth flow to the show, I've got to have you go first. So go ahead, and you see that St. Peter's is now on the board. So I don't know what you might want to do with that, but the floor is yours, sir.
All right. I think I got you here, Coach. I don't like that pick from Max. I'm going against it. We're probably going to have a showdown. It's going to be on. Max, if you're watching, you know I'm down, but let's get into why I'm taking Purdue first, okay? So Purdue really just has too much talent for the St. Peter's team. You could argue that St. Peter's shouldn't be here. They probably shouldn't have won that game against Kentucky based on the way the shot selection went. They've been hitting tough shots. Kentucky missed some easy ones. I don't think that with 7'4" Zach Edey, with Williams backing him up, with Jaden Ivey running the show, the bodies, the sizes of these D1 athletes compared to, St. Peter's, who, if you were paying attention to some of the beat reporting this week, they do not have a very well-developed program. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do this. It's a great storyline, but people are probably a little afraid to lay the points because it's a big number, but it should be bigger. So I'm going to go lay it 12.5. It's already moving to 13. Definitely want to get looking at that one before it moves. But yeah, I love that pick. Max, it's on. Can't wait for that little Cash App ding because I don't have Venmo. But all right, on to my next
you
two
literally
picks.
you're the worst trash talker in the history of trash talk.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not close. It's not close.
Well, I mean, Coach, I did beat you on Houston. So
oh my God,
Chief talks better trash than you do, buddy.
He really does. Chief talks better trash than you do.
Look. You don't want the trash talk. I get unhinged.
Oh my God, you get unhinged. Oh my God, it's so easy. Sorry, you got two more plays. Sorry,
I do have two more plays.
I'll step out of the way. My bad.
Let's go. All right.
Okay.
So the next one I'm going to go with is Providence against Kansas. I like the 7.5 here because Providence is going to be able to hang around. You're getting more than 2 full possessions here with the Friars, who have one of the coaches of the year. I just really like the way that this one's going to kind of break down at the end. I think Providence is going to be able to keep it tight. They get good looks, and they've been able to do this in tight games all year. People have been saying, how the heck are they winning all these games? It's a luck score on KenPom, but at this point, you have to factor it into the way that they play. They know how to win games. I like this team. 7.5 is probably going to be too big. And then for my last pick, this is a showdown with Mike. I got Miami minus 2.5 against Iowa State. I think Iowa State's road to this game has been a little easy. Wisconsin really wasn't showing up the way that they should have. I think they fell apart, a little one-dimensional. I don't give ISU the credit I think other people are for getting to this game. I'm going to fade them. I'm going to take the 2.5 with Larinaga and Miami. This team is so good inside the paint, so good from mid-range, good defense, better offense. I love this team. I think that they're going to make it to the next round.
All right. So Purdue, Providence, and Miami. And one of those is a showdown with your mentor, M Square. Now, Mike, I think at this point of the show, I probably need to apologize because I honestly, I feel bad because in the chat, Freddie Bear says, ease up on Jay Smooth. Ease up on Jay. So Freddie Bear says, ease up on Jay Smooth. I'm sorry, Jay Smooth. And you can thank Freddie Bear. You can thank Freddie Bear for that. We're becoming so soft here at the early edge. All right. So since there's a showdown there, it just makes sense. M squared. Come on, baby. Lift this show up. You know the drill, son. Give it to me.
All right, we'll recap some of the showdowns I have. I have Iowa State plus 2.5 with Justin in the showdown. Not a full play for me yet. Another classic one. I think I'm going to be able to get a better number on it live in the game. I need to get over 3.5 minimum for the full possession here. So that's where I'm actually playing it, but I've got it in the showdown here with Justin. And then with Larry, same thing on Kansas, looking to get this one under 6, but we'll play it out and watch it. I have them on the money line to close out the parlay with the Villanova money line from earlier in the week. Now, as far as what I'm playing today, match play, Adam Scott minus 105 against Jordan Spieth. I love Adam Scott in this format. I'm not a huge Jordan Spieth fan in this kind of format in general. I think this sets up really nicely for him. The simulations for me, when I simulate this head to head, I have this one closer to 58% implied probability. That would put this around minus 138. This line is currently minus 105, about 51.5% is the implied. So a pretty meaningful edge when it comes to a head-to-head matchup here. But again, it's all about Adam Scott and Jordan Spieth's current form. I think this sets up really well for Adam Scott to get this win and advance in the bracket here in match play.
If the over was 1.5 on balls thrown in the water by Jordan Spieth in round 2, we would have cashed the over. He played like complete dog, you know what? My goodness, Jay Smooth, a lot of people in the chat are coming to your defense. Show a little bit of that New York City attitude, George says. He's from New York City. He can take it, they say. Oh, man, you're starting to build your little army. What do you say? Eric says, this is called the early edge, coach. Have some edge and no easing up on Jay Smooth one time. Oh, see, a lot of different people in different camps. But I tell you what, everybody's in this man's camp. Calvin, you're up.
All right, so I love Texas tonight. Texas minus 4.5. And our article plays that we put out earlier this week, this is the only one that hasn't moved yet. I still wouldn't be surprised if it does by the end of the day to at least 5.5. But Texas is 9th in our defensive ratings. Ohio State has not faced any defense like that. They haven't faced any defenses in the top 10. And the only two they faced in the top 20 all year were Indiana, who they lost both games to by an average of 14 points, and Missouri State, who they almost got upset by in the first round in that 6-11 matchup. They really struggled to score the ball in that one, needed a late run to avoid the upset. I don't think Ohio State has really faced a team that can pressure you and take you out of your stuff the way Texas can. On the other side, Texas has faced all sorts of great offenses like Ohio State. They beat Stanford earlier in the year. They're 3-0 against that Iowa State team we talked about earlier, including twice where they just took them apart. And of course, in their last game, they also took apart Utah in the second round, who's a very offensively minded team. So I think this just sets up well for Texas. They're going to be a lot more prepared for this one. And this is a line that they can cover at the end with free throws if they need it too. So I like Texas minus 4.5.
I love that take. And I love how professional you are, Calvin. In fact, I don't think that if somebody else was giving their take and a pick on the show, I don't think that you would go into the chat live and start talking with the fans. I don't think you would do that. But somebody else might do that. Don't think I don't look, Jay Smooth. I see it all.
Oh,
They're calling themselves
sorry,
the
Calvin.
Jay Smoothies. That's what they're calling themselves now, the Jay Smoothies. What in the world are you doing this morning? You literally typed in the chat live on the show while you were on the show. That's
You forgot to switch back to the burner, Jay Smooth. Come on. Everyone knows that.
I don't have a burner. Get out of
You
here.
don't
I
have
can
a
do anything I want.
Oh my God. I cannot believe you just did that. I've got to really think about what I'm going to do here. Literally typing in the chat live on the show when you're on the show. It's never been done before. Unless you've done it and I missed it. If you've done it
all the time.
I do it probably twice a week.
Yeah.
Like,
but Jay
it doesn't say my name on the YouTube account.
You're not Mike. Yeah, you're not Mikey. You're not Mikey. He does a little.
Okay.
Mike is sitting over going, can we please get these kids out of the way so the grown men can walk in here?
No,
please?
Entertain.
All right, Micah, you know that if you're in this spot on the show, you know how important it is to us. For two reasons I've saved you. A, I've got a ton of respect for you. B, I know that your play is one that I can really sink my teeth into. I'm done with unders. Give me something I like.
Yeah, Coach, there's 8 options I looked at for today's card, and there was nothing that stood out except a 4-point edge on the total of the UCLA game. Kansas money line, maybe, just nothing. The lines were perfect, set to exactly what I have, except this total in the North Carolina UCLA game that looked about 4 points light. And it's because Carolina is playing their best ball of the season, running, confidence, hitting their shots, jumping out on teams right out of the gate. They've covered 6 of their last 7 games, but the pace has been everything for them. They get it started, get it rolling. And it's one of those teams you don't really have to sweat a lot in the second half to get the over because they get it so quickly. And they've gone over 11 of their last 15 games. UCLA plays a lot of bad teams in the Pac-12, but they've still gone over 6 of their last games. I think they're both going to have a shootout. I think we're going to go maybe 8 minutes left in the second half and cash that ticket before anything else happens. So it's going to be an over. I'll say that I didn't take Carolina in this game despite how well they're playing, just because I have a fear of them closing the game out late where UCLA is going to be better in that situation. So I was just cautious there and playing the value.
I had UCLA going to the Final Four, but now that my bracket is smashed with Arizona and Gonzaga getting bounced, I don't care. So I want to see North Carolina make it. I want to see Duke make it, and I want to see some storylines. Speaking of storylines, Micah, oh my goodness, you won't believe what happened while you were giving your play out. Who's your daddy in the chat? Says, Coach, you've taken the show to a completely new level with Jay Smooth and buckets. Wow. I just don't know if that is a higher level or a lower level. But it's a new level, nevertheless. Jay Smooth, I gotta be honest with you. I never thought when the show started today that you would be the center of attention. But that's exactly what's happened. And Calvin's over here going, what the hell? Am I just like top liver? Come on. All right. I think we've got to the end. I feel like this is like so much fun. All right. Here are our plays for today. And by the way, turn on your notifications today at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Me, Jay Smooth, Mikey, Chip. We're right back at it for the 4 games tonight. We had a great time last night on the live stream. So you see all those plays, and I would love for the jeweler to show his face. I would love to see the jeweler's face this morning and explain himself with these golf picks at the World Match Play. What are we looking at here, jeweler?
Well, we're going to do a couple of little fades of guys who are playing terrible. The common theme here is that they can't hit the driver well, so we're going to take Mackenzie Hughes over Matthew Wolff. Wolff is 0-2. He's out of this thing. Hughes has motivation to play. And then we're going to take John Rahm over Patrick Reed. Rahm gets the win here, and he's on to the next round. Reed has also been driving like dog,
Rahm's been dominant. Great job, jeweler. Thank you very much. Mackenzie Hughes beat Max Homa yesterday on the 17th hole. Matthew Wolff losing to Dustin Johnson. So Hughes has a lot of motivation. Jeweler, as always, all over it. All right, I think that's it. I haven't. All right. By the way, David in the chat says Mike is a monster. Guy is always on point. Why do you think we have him on the damn show? Of course he's on point. All right. What a fun show today. Thank you all very much for tuning in as always. We'll see you tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But remember, there's one thing left to do, and you all know what that is. And this one's all for the J Smoothies out there. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these smooth tickets straight to the pay window for my entire crew. I love them all. Even the J Smoothies, M Squareds, the Micah Roberts, the Calvin Wetzels, and of course the jeweler. Puts it all together here at the brand. I am the coach. I don't even know what my crew would be called. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. That's all right. We'll let Jay Smooth take care of his crew. All right. We'll see you tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Tell all your friends about the early edge. Good luck.